Hello. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz, and I'm joined as always by my gorgeous, uh, gainfully employed, gargantuan co-host, Mark.
Gargantuan. I don't know which is more wrong, gargantuan or gainfully employed.
I don't know why that was the second G word to come to my brain.
How about great?
Oh, well, it didn't have enough syllables. Grandiose, glorious,
Yeah,
well,
glorious.
they're
Your
all
your
coming down.
favorite walkout.
Yeah, and yet somehow that did not come out in my head first.
Glamorous.
Glamorous, that's one. Fair play. Uh,
Um, glossy.
Glossy, not a word I would immediately go to describe a person. It sounds like you're
Gross.
covered in like lip gloss.
Gross.
No, not of syllables. Grotesque.
Grotesque. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You want some, you lose some.
All right, so you want to start this stupid NXT post show?
Why are you so mad? This is a good NXT.
Stupid.
Mark's just mad because he wants to play Cyberpunk and we have to do the post show. That's what this is.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let's go.
To be fair, I feel like for me personally, just based on my own anxieties, today has felt like it has lasted 5 years. This NXT, no exception to that.
Today's been like the worst day in so long. I don't even want to share
I
what's been
felt
going
like I
on.
lived through 14 days. I felt like there were 14 days that I had to get through, and I've finally almost gotten through them, and there's still 50 more that I have to get through before I can go to bed. And I'm like, ah, ah.
The news?
I guess the news. Sure.
You want me to start with what I've got about Sting? Stang?
Stang?
Stang.
That news about Stang tonight?
Hell yeah.
Dude, I want you to tell me all about Stang. Give me a second. Let me get the sign up.
Um, so much
There's nothing
Stang
about
news.
Botchamania that will never not make me fucking crack up.
Oh my god, it's Stang! I wish we
It's
could.
between that and Nage. That and Nage, that'll always get me just fucking break down.
I wish we could watch that again without having to pay for it. Again.
I would pay for it again, personally.
But so I don't know.
I will pay per view.
I don't remember who said this regarding Stang. Just kidding, Sting. Now that he's in AEW. I don't know who said this. It might have been Tony Khan. But they said that Sting will be a part of some action. He will be involved in some action, but he won't be taking any bumps.
Yeah, okay.
So he'll probably do some like
Yeah.
backstage promo fights or like cinematic fights, something like that. I could see him doing something in that regard, kind of like the Boneyard match with Undertaker.
I just feel like it's so weird to use Mr. Sting, the wordless wonder, if you will, in a capacity that is not for wrestling.
Right.
It's like, here's this statue. He's your manager now. Have fucking fun. Like, eh.
Yeah.
Good moment. You good? Do you want to get up on the bed or no? Okay, all right.
Well, that's my piece of news. Just that Stang will be in action, but not take any hits or any bumps.
Yeah. Hope he survives his death match that's coming up.
I don't know what the deal with that is.
I don't either. I'm just gonna quickly, because I hate when she walks around and then tries to knock over the sign. I'm just gonna shut this door so she feels obligated to stay here. She's standing on her food mat right now, so.
Okay.
Good luck, Pete's. I too like to stand on my food plates when I try to fucking eat. Anyways, alright, Jesus Christ. Where to begin? The first thing I'm gonna start with is not actually technically news. More so something I read as part of a different article, which is that Sonya is going to trial with the man who, you know, tried to fucking kidnap her.
The trial's still going
on December
on?
15th. That's how law works, dude. It's not like Law and Order SVU where it's like we cut to commercial and we're back and we're at the fucking court. Which is always something that's just shocked me personally.
Why not?
I wish I could tell you. But she's going to trial with whatever the fuck his name is. I'm not even going to give him that time of day. On December 15th, which means you probably won't see Sonya until like March. Which is understandable. However.
Yeah. I mean, maybe even Royal Rumble, possibly?
I thought about that. It depends on like how cut and dry this whole thing is. It is Florida after all, so.
Yeah. Maybe Elimination Chamber?
Maybe, yeah, that's possible. However, I have like 2 articles bookmarked for tonight. Oh, okay. Christ on a cracker. All right, so I don't know. Goldberg wants to fight Roman again, so we might see that for WrestleMania. Second time.
Yeah, it's slated to happen at WrestleMania, according to rumors. But Roman responded to that and said, "I never wait in line. I am the attraction, and I choose who's next." And that's Kevin Owens. Hashtag WWE TLC. Hashtag Island of Relevancy. Don't know what that last one is.
To be totally fair, bro. We're if it's Goldberg, we're probably talking WrestleMania. We're probably talking about WrestleMania. We're not talking about TLC, baby. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think he's making one of those safe responses that's not, okay, I accept your challenge, or I refuse your challenge. It's just like, we'll take it one step at a time.
I'm sure Goldberg expected.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Goldberg's part of this fucking thing, so like I'm sure he knows that that's what's gonna happen here.
Right.
However. Right. So there is a segue I could do here, but the best segue I'm gonna do is not the one I was thinking of doing. I have a little bone to pick with Wrestle Talk real quick. You probably knew this was gonna happen. So I was looking through all the articles for the news because I usually use Wrestle Talk for my news. 9 times out of 10, it's news from not only Wrestle Talk, but they'll take stuff from Cultaholic and cite it on their own stories and stuff like that. So Wrestle Talk had an article recently about how NXT writers and main roster writers are having difficulties combining with one another. Which makes sense, because NXT and the main roster are 2 separate entities.
That's why they combine the Raw and SmackDown writing teams.
Yeah. So, I guess like they kind of converged when the whole Charlotte Flair Rhea Ripley thing happened during WrestleMania, which again makes sense. It was nice that they included NXT in that. But apparently now NXT has like is for Flair to help out NXT in a certain way, and the main roster writers have like different ideas and they can't agree on anything. And obviously the main roster writers have more of a say than the NXT writers probably do, because it just makes more sense that way. And whatever. Makes sense. Fine. I get it. However, they reference the fucking match that Rhea and Charlotte had and said that there should have been Bianca Belair was supposed to be involved in the feud. She wasn't. The pin was supposed to happen. Bianca was supposed to take the pin from Rhea, and that meant Flair wouldn't have been pinned. Ripley would have retained, etc., etc. But Flair won, and this is where I actually got annoyed. Nothing else like bothered me. Everything else was factual. I was like, yes, that is pretty much what happened there. They said Ripley's position on the card, as far as NXT is considered, has pretty much dwindled ever since. I don't get that. I don't get that sentence at all. In what sense has Rhea Ripley dwindled on the fucking NXT card?
She hasn't been.
For a minute she did.
She hasn't really been a serious contender for the title. Like, on and off. But not so much. Especially since she hasn't held the title at all. But to be fair, Io's been holding that spot since TakeOver.
In my opinion, that's more of a problem that the NXT writers had, because they started the feud with Io and Rhea. Your House happened, and then that feud kind of just like sat back.
Mm-hmm.
So that does not have anything to do with anything recently or pre-WrestleMania. I don't know. I saw that and I was like, I don't feel like we're watching the same NXT. Because Rhea has been included in a capacity that would make her look like a formidable opponent. I mean, to the point where she won against Io in that fucking bloodbath of a match that they had. And everyone was like, oh, she's moving to the main roster. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just like that one specific fucking line just kind of threw me for a goddamn loop. Because there's never a point in time where, like, maybe if you told me Xia Li had dwindled in her position on the card or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Or even if you had said that about Tegan prior to her getting injured, I would have understood. Like, at least Rhea's fighting, like, opponents that are, like, terrifying.
Right.
I don't know. I just didn't care for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had any negative thoughts on Rhea's bookings. I think she's had great matches. As far as her storylines go, what?
We've seen people who have been underutilized.
Right. But I mean, as far as her storylines have gone, they could be better. Nothing really focused. It's just been her and Raquel pissed at each other.
To be fair, storylines aren't super important in NXT, though. I mean, there's rarely a time where we're like... Well, okay, so what I mean more so is that, like, you know storylines in the main roster because there's 41 promos that go on with the storyline. Whereas, like, in NXT, a lot of it is very much like it's more worked in, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. I've just never felt like NXT was super storyline based, more so like I don't know how to describe it without making it sound like I'm talking down to NXT in a sense that I don't want to do. I don't know. It annoyed me to see that because I was like, we've seen people booked poorly. We've seen Bandy, we've seen Bianca. We know what poor booking middle card positions look like. I never got that sense from Rhea. And personally, I think we have like one of the best like positions to be speaking to it from because we pretty much started watching NXT shortly after WrestleMania, caught up with everything pre-WrestleMania, and then I've continued watching post-WrestleMania. It's like I just think it's a product of the fact that NXT and WWE main roster have not been able to like interact recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I can talk about some stuff that might make you more angry if you want to do that right now.
Oh boy, I cannot wait.
One thing is like something I don't really have that much to say towards, but Matt Riddle has filed to push the trial against him with Candy Cartwright to have that dismissed. Which, you know what? Zest la vie. Apparently, Candy is currently seeking $10 million from Matt Riddle, the WWE, Evolve, and Gabe Sapolsky. So that's $4 million. $40 million. I know how to do math. Matt's still going under the whole guise of like she was stalking me. She had trouble saying that the relationship was over and that he never did anything to her. And then, of course, you have to consider also the fact that Drake Wirtz said, no, you guys can't be together anymore. And Drake Wirtz or can't be on like the same card anymore. And of course, Drake Wirtz is not exactly the first person I would look to defending my claims that I didn't sexually assault a person. Personally. In my fucking experience reading his goddamn stories. Yeah. I mean, the article is full of a bunch of legal shit that, like, I just... can't. There is technically sort of kind of maybe proof that, like, some of the timelines add up, but he's pushing to have it dismissed. I don't know how that works. Part of me is like, I don't think you can just say, like, no, I didn't do it, dismiss this case, but...
I mean, that's kind of... Would that help Candy in that she wouldn't have to, like, pay anything if she loses? Because, like, if they go through with the case and Riddle wins, does she have to, like, fork up anything? She probably has to pay, like, lawyer's fees and stuff, but, like...
Right. I mean... Okay, did you take business law? Or was that just me? I thought maybe we both had.
No.
Okay, so I somehow managed to take business law in my tiny-ass fucking school. Basically, the thing is, this is not a business law related thing. That was a curiosity. Basically, the thing is that if he dismisses it, if he wins that dismissal, she will still have to pay her lawyers, but then Matt Riddle can come back and say, well, you caused me all this, like, stress and, like, heartbreak and trauma and X, Y, and Z and libel and shit like that, and he can then sue her. Which, judging by all things considered, might actually happen at this point. Because if he's proven in a court of law that he didn't actually do anything, then he could say, well, you defamed me, basically.
I mean, if his story's been true and she has been stalking him and everything and has tried to take $10 million from him, kind of understandable, but that's assuming his story's right. But
right, that's
the one thing I don't vibe with is, like, if he's so confident that he's innocent, why doesn't he just let the court case ride out?
I don't know. It's always like the thing that like fucks me up nowadays because like you're supposed to believe that like the law is true and the law is on your side, but then we watch all these cases where it's like the law is not on your side. If somebody, if like enough people in the jury are like your lawyer's fucking lying through his goddamn teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but also I'm sure Matt Riddle has lawyers from all around WWE on his back too. So just to say, however, before we truly get into the meat of that, because we could spend talking about it. Matt Riddle also has decided to talk shit about Goldberg.
I heard about this.
I would love for this moment particularly, love to discuss real quick what Matt Riddle, the goddamn fucking idiot, has said. He said, I think the only way I could get Goldberg in a ring with me is if he gets to murder me, and I have to let him. He couldn't do it in real life, that's that. I think he would agree to get in the ring with me, but if I promise to let him beat me up. If we could work it out any other way, my goal is I would love to have a sweet match with him. I think I'm good enough to where I could do it. I think to redeem him completely. I'm not even saying to win. I'm not that guy. I'm all about the quality of work. So if we can make quality work and you'd be willing to listen to what I have to say, and I'll listen to what you have to say, I will. But I think it could be magical. I think the fans would eat it up. The guy really doesn't like me. I really don't like his work, to be fair. I get it. He has a presence just like I have a presence. And then he said, I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it will ever happen. The guy literally refuses to acknowledge me on multiple occasions in public forum, interviews, and everything. I don't blame him. The guy's like, what if he shoots on me? I would be scared too, bro.
Like, half of what he said I agree with, but like the other half is just like, what the fuck are you talking about? What?
Oh, nothing. Zubagato just pushed the entire placemat beside my bed backwards. There she is. There's the queen. I just... To be Matt Riddle and to say some shit like, I don't like his form.
I mean, he seems like every generic wrestling fan, honestly. He seems like...
He has a presence, so do I. Oh my god. Alright, I try to be unbiased with this shit, but then he said this stuff and I was like, it's Goldberg. The fuck are you talking about?
I mean, most wrestling fans hate Goldberg, so that's why I say Riddle's like, he seems like the generic wrestling fan.
I get that, I do. I think a lot of wrestling fans hate Goldberg in the same way that they hated Roman. Since their style of fighting is pretty much identical.
I think they hate him in the same way they hate, like, what do they hate? Same way they hate Braun.
Okay, yeah. I like the idea that Matt Riddle kind of thinks that, like, the whole reason that Goldberg fucking hates him is because, like, he doesn't respect his wrestling style. As if that's all there is. When there's been multiple stories recently proving that people fucking hate Matt Riddle because Matt Riddle's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
It's like,
have
you ever considered that one, bud?
He seems like he just likes to stir up drama.
Like, the fact that there was a dude who was put in a fucking Survivor Series match with you, and let's pretend that nothing else was happening, there were no extenuating circumstances, and instead of fucking looking at you during the match, he shut his eyes, got in the ring, and said, Sheamus, kick me in the fucking face so I don't have to do this anymore.
I really hope that was the actual reasoning behind that.
Because we made jokes, we were like, oh my god, what's Seth gonna do when he has to be in the ring with Matt Riddle? Like, what's gonna happen there? Because he specifically said, I do not want to fight this dude.
Mm-hmm.
I would fight this dude. Just to, like, I don't know, man. It's not good vibes. It's not good vibes. You cannot be a wrestler and have people fucking hate you in your own wrestling company. Because you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are people who know how to do these moves safely, and I'm sure know how to do these moves dangerously. And so, however, I'd just like to quickly discuss...
No, that's inappropriate. We're gonna get banned.
And the last thing I had is a piece of news, which isn't that much. It's just that CM Punk does not see unions happening because there's too many people too high up that will kiss Vince's ass. Also, CM Punk really wants to fight several people in the AEW. I did not open the link, only because I know that CM Punk, there's a better than good chance in the next 2 years we'll see him premiere on AEW.
He probably wants to fight, like, Chris Jericho, Cody.
I should have opened the link just to know who he wanted to fight, but I was done with looking at news at that point. However, I would 100% I could totally see him going to AEW.
But I also 100% agree with him on what he said about unionizing, like
Yeah,
Jackson
no, because I mean,
Riker.
like, there's like even higher up. I don't think that like like highest up people really, Seth, Roman, Drew, whoever the fuck else. There's a lot of people who don't stream and therefore probably don't see this as an issue.
I could see Triple H whistleblowing,
What does that mean?
like ruining, like telling Vince about unionizing efforts.
Oh yeah, no. Triple H would suck the shit out of fucking Vince's ass if he could.
Yeah, I think Drew absolutely would be
And
a
that's because
whistleblower.
How could you say that?
He's great friends with with Vince. I don't see him as somebody who would really get streaming.
To be totally fair, I think there is also room to talk about the fact that like with Undertaker, with Braun, with Drew, very much a Stockholm syndrome kind of situation in that Vince took everything away from them, or almost like saw everything taken away from them and said, "Oh no, 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 here." And they're like, "I owe you my fucking life." So I think that's also something to play into it.
Yeah, but I think I at least hope that the number of whistleblowers is far outweighed by the people who would support unionizing. Because thinking about the people higher up in the company, I can assume that they would support it. Like Seth Rollins, I would assume supports unionizing. Roman Reigns, I don't think Brock Lesnar would, but he's not really a part of the company anymore. Randy,
Has he been released yet?
I mean, he's been all but released at this point. Well, no, his contract expired, so that's the same as being released, and they haven't renewed it.
Also, to be totally fair, in retrospect, what I said about CM Punk wanting to wrestle people in AEW, he made a good point, which was just that like he's wrestled people in WWE before, so there are a lot of people in AEW that he has not wrestled before.
That makes sense.
But also, I still stand by my point that I would be willing to bet we'll see him debut on AEW in like the next 2 years.
I could see that happening because he fucking hates everybody in the WWE in a higher up position. I mean, that's not even like
he would. He's the ideal person for fucking AEW at this point.
But also like
him, Miro, Chris Jericho.
That's not even me hating on him. It's like he genuinely had like an awful time there, so it makes sense for him to go to AEW. Whether I agree with him having a horrible time there or not, I also don't know his personal experiences there, so I can't say for sure. But
my personal experience, I just want to say, because I have no personal experience with CM Punk, I think he's a little goofy bitch. And that's that on that. He is such a goofy bitch, okay? He's very whiny. You, honestly, because I don't think you've seen it yet, you need to look up on YouTube Chris Jericho, yeah. CM Punk Pipe Bomb. Just listen to it. Like, he's right, but also it's just like, oh, the sad boy.
I want to hear him on Renee's podcast. I know he talked a lot about. Yeah, I know he talked a lot about Zelina Vega.
To be fair, I think like the eponymous. Jesus, I was so good last time. I was so good.
Wrong way.
Oh.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, fuck him. To be fair, he has gotten a little older since the pipe bomb incident. So. Mm-hmm. It was also, to be totally fair, it was one of the best fucking promos I've ever goddamn watched. CM Punk had no right ever holding a microphone, but also, I wanted to slap him. I genuinely want to be like, just full boomer on his ass, just like, oh, this is somebody's dad. Which is why I don't think I could ever meet him.
All right,
He's also
so
said sexist and homophobic things. So
matches and
further
promos.
reason for Elizabeth.
Matches and promos. So we start off with Finn in the ring. He's back. Even though he was supposed to be back, I think last week or the week before. He's back again. Guess who's back? Shady's back. Tell a friend. He says the champion's back. Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend.
Meow.
Meow. Then Pete Dunne comes out, gets in his face. He wants to challenge him, basically saying Pete came from overseas and made a thing for himself, just like Finn did. So they're kind of on equal fields. Kyle O'Reilly comes out and says, "Hey man, I broke your jaw." And then
He's got a point.
And then Damien comes out and says, "Imagine at TakeOver, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest." That sounds great, doesn't it? And then they're all arguing in the ring. Kyle does a British impersonation of Pete Dunne, and it's hilarious. Finn tries to leave, just walk away, and says, "You guys interrupted me, so I'm out. It's up to William Regal now." But as he's at the top of the ramp, Scarlett comes out. Miss Conspiracy Theories.
God dang it!
You can't have anyone except Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
No, we can!
Finn Balor.
This is why I stopped trying to like people. You're always like, oh, well, you hate so-and-so because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, because every time I go to like somebody, they end up being fucking anti-masker, QAnon, conspiracy theorists.
Hey,
and I'm like,
at least we have Adam Cole.
baby.
Baby. Yeah, Scarlett comes out and Finn says, "I know what you're gonna say. But tell Karrion that when Karrion's ready, he's ready."
No. He says, when your boy's ready, Finn is ready.
And then Finn walks out, and then Damien's like, he shouts from the top of the ring, and it looks like Kyle and Pete are both gone. Damien shouts, "Hey, Smoke Show, I'll kick your boy's ass." In short. So that happened. And then we go right to Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas for some reason.
No, first of all, no, we don't. Second of all, Jesus Christ. Also, what's up with calling Karrion Scarlett's boy? He has a name. He's also an anti-masker, so there's no point in respecting him anyway, so no big deal. However, I really did expect Willie Reeks to come out and say, "I have an idea."
He comes out and just says, "WarGames!"
It's like, no, Willie, that was last weekend.
Gauntlet!
Fair enough, Will. You got it. You are, however, missing... No, I'm not getting into this right now. I'm mad. I really liked Karrion for 5 whole fucking minutes. And then you had to shout from your goddamn computer while I was sitting in bed. You had to shout, "Oh, by the way, he's an anti-masker." Why?
I found out from Reddit, and I also looked at Scarlett's Twitter just not too long ago, and she retweeted something Karrion said about people in their echo chambers on social media not able to change, and he welcomes Doomsday. And he posted a GIF of Terminator 2.
I just, you know.
Yeah.
Did I expect anything different from Karrion Kross? No, I didn't actually.
At least we have Sonya.
However,
except not really.
Anyways, you're also missing a promo with Pete Dunne. You walked out of the room at this point.
Wasn't that after
this was when
match?
You put spoiled milk in your cereal. No.
Thanks for telling everyone.
I'm sorry. Everyone should feel real sad because Mark had cereal fucked up by the gods of dairy.
I wasn't hungry for dinner, so I was just gonna have cereal and almond milk. We were out of almond milk, so we just had
What do
whole
you say,
milk.
eggnog?
And I am not putting eggnog in milk in cereal. That sounds
Have you ever had
disgusting.
cereal in half and half?
No, I refuse to try that.
It's really good. Feels
But
like your goddamn arteries are clogging, but it's good.
poured in the milk. It was chunky and smelled bad. The expiration date was 3 days ago. And that was the last bit of cereal I had, so I'm feeling great.
Anyways, Mark left the room, and Mackenzie tried to interview Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne, I don't fucking know what he said, but Killian attacked him with Drake Maverick, and Oni and Danny tried to break it up. So, that's what you missed, Stangly.
You want to get into the match?
I do. I had a problem with this match. Let's start with the fact that it was Jake Atlas who worked with Swerve against Swerve, who got pissed off at the end of the match. Let's start there. You know, Jake Atlas, who was helping to fight Legato because Swerve clearly couldn't fucking do it on his own, so Jake Atlas said, "Let me help," and now Swerve is mad at him for being a better wrestler. But that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. So there's an arm sub on Jake Atlas and then a suplex to Swerve. Swerve avoids the standing moonsault and then sends Atlas from the ring. There's a kick to the face of Atlas while Swerve stands on the apron. And there's a Hurricane Rana to Swerve, a missed crossbody from Atlas. Swerve kips up. There's a flatliner to Atlas and then a super kick to Swerve and a clothesline. Then there's a pop-up powerbomb to Swerve. Swerve stomps the back of Jake's head. We get a Panama Sunrise to Mr. Isaiah Scott, and he immediately goes for an armbar, but Swerve is rolled up. Swerve goes for the cover. Jake rolls him up to win, and then Swerve, with the most animated angry face, which very specifically looked like this, walks out of the ring, will not shake Jake Atlas's hand because he's mad he lost against the guy who was trying to fight the same people he was just trying to fight because Swerve enlisted him to fight Legato with him. Why the fuck is Swerve mad?
Swerve is so campy. He really is.
It doesn't make sense.
Also, before we move on to the next thing, I found a hilariously written rumor on Sportskeeda about the whole Braun situation, I think. Well, no, it was Raw Underground and Retribution storylines on Raw. And Vince Russo is telling Sportskeeda all this information and is just hilariously said. So, it sounds like, remember that bit that I showed you? I forget who was saying it, but it was like the math on WWE or WWF. It sounds like that. Okay, so I gotta tell you something. I'll give you a little inside information, and this isn't second, third, fourth, fifth hand information. This is Vince Russo information. I can't tell you how I got this information, okay? But I will tell you this. I've got information direct from a good source. This isn't second, third, fourth hand. About 6 months ago, USA Network let it be known to WWE they were not happy. We're not happy with these numbers, with what we're paying for the show. We're not happy with the creative. They were not happy about a lot of things, okay? What is that even saying?
Sorry, who said that quote?
Vince Russo.
Who the fuck is Vince Russo?
Let me see. He might be credited in the article. Vince Russo.
Oh, I know who Vince Russo is. He's the fucker who fucking made the goddamn stupid ass Brawl for All or whatever it was. One and then the fucking guy getting his neck broken and everybody else being fucking miserable and almost dying. Him! One who has a huge fucking beef with Jim Cornette.
Hmm.
That's who it is. No wonder he's fucking talking like that. That makes sense. That makes a ton of sense, actually. He's a goddamn lunatic. How can you make Brawl for All and come out like a fucking source on something? Good lord. Jesus Christ, if I made Brawl for All, I'd just fucking cover my head in sand and sit back. Moron.
Moving on. We had a little promo with Ciampa talking to the camera, where he says that nobody's safe, and that he's moving forward, after his match with Thatcher, because I guess that match was all it took to satisfy his bloodlust. And for some reason, he's very specifically targeting Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes cannot get away from scary people. Because it started with Dexter, now it's Ciampa, and soon we'll see that it's also Thatcher.
It's his personality. The last person he has to fight is Willie Reeves.
Oh no. And then the Fiend.
Oh no. Bless Cameron's poor little heart. No.
And then Brock Lesnar.
We can't. I truly do love that Thatcher came out here. I kind of thought the way like we were gonna get like an extenuating Thatcher, or not Thatcher, sorry, an extenuating Tommaso Thatcher feud, because we had 3 episodes and maybe like 1.5 fights with them fighting each other. So I thought maybe we'd get like a little more on that. And Tommaso's just like, no, Cameron Grimes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I was like,
he's just stirring chaos.
It's like. Tommaso, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, buddy. Anyways. I just hope that Dexter has somebody to fight now. Like, Jesus fuck, who's he gonna fight?
Dream?
Will not let my little Dexter Loomis fight him. Not after he denied his attempts at friendship.
Pat
It's
McAfee?
nice. Fine.
Or Drake Maverick?
Let it be. Drake's so small. So easily thrown around a ring.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Alright, well, we then jumped into the most difficult match I've ever had to goddamn take notes on. And I don't know why it was so difficult, but it might have something to do with Everrise. We had Grizzled Young Veterans versus Everrise versus Imperium. So we start with Mr. Zach Gibson. We start with Mr. Pony Rise and Mr. Bartel.
Pony Rise.
I genuinely forgot his name for 90% of the match, and I was just waiting for somebody to say his name, and no one did for like half of the match. Which ironically rhymes with Bartel, which is on them, I guess. So everyone really just attacks Everrise to start the fucking match, which is fine with me. There's a super kick from Eichner to Mr. Martel. We then have just Zach and Eichner in the ring. Eichner gets Bartel in. There's a huge arm drag to Gibson. Would not have called it an arm drag. Would have just called it a very, very, very weird and mean move. Seen an arm drag. It did not look as serious as that. It's fine. Then there's a little stomp to the nose of Gibson from Bartel. It was just such a sweet little thing because like he just kind of like went down like doop, tap on the nose. We get a deep down float over to Gibson from Bartel. Everrise is sitting over by their stairs plotting. Then there's some knees to Gibson's chest from Bartel. Martel attacks from behind. Drake gets in, trips Bartel. Zach kicks Bartel in the head. Off of Gibson's shoulders. Drake jumps and kicks Martel in the head. Drake then sends Bartel out, gets Gibson in. There's a hold on Bartel, and then an arm drop onto Bartel's chest from Drake. We get a head sub, and by that, I should have said a fucking headlock. I don't know why I said head sub in my notes. A headlock on Bartel. Drake gets in. There's a form to Drake's face. Bartel has a back to belly to Drake. Bartel finally decides to take his time, gets in, stomps both Drake and Bartel. It is very difficult to say Martel and Bartel in the same fucking match.
Yeah.
God forbid we have Everrise versus Imperium at any goddamn point in time.
Also, don't forget Marcel Martel.
Wait, what?
Marcel Bartel. That's his name.
Marcel Bartel. What is Martel's first name?
Matt.
Martel. Matt Martel. Okay. That's still worse. It's still M.A. Martel versus M.A. Bartel. Fuck it. I hate
Martel,
that.
Bartel, Matt Martel. Sounds like a fucking chant.
Anyways. Right. So Bartel gets in, stomps both of Drake and Bartel, gets Chase Parker in, because God forbid I have to say anything ending in Artel. But Parker gets in. He and Martel cross Bartel up with his arms and send him down to his back. Drake breaks the cover that they have on him. Martel trips Drake, and Parker kicks him in the head. Bartel then takes Martel out. Gibson and Eichner are out of the ring. Drake gets back in. There's an elbow to Eichner and a spinning heel kick to Eichner from Drake. Martel then takes Drake down. We've got Drake, Bartel, and Parker. There's a super kick to Parker's head from Imperium. You know, the whole good old team offense. And then a Death Valley driver, which I'm sure is called something else, but that's what it looks like. To Drake from Eichner. Bartel tags in. We get a headlock, then a tag on. We get a headlock on Drake. He tags Eichner in. There's a suplex to Gibbs, who manages to get in shortly thereafter from Bartel. A spinebuster from Eichner to Drake, and a soccer style kick to Drake's head from Bartel. We get the team offense TDT to Drake from Imperium. Parker then tries to take over the cover that technically belongs to Imperium to win. The Grizzled Young Veterans do their little team offense. They take Parker out, and I'm going to be really honest, I have no fucking clue who won this, because apparently I did not take that last goddamn note. You know.
Who won was Grizzled Young Vets.
Thank you. Okay, that makes sense, because their team offense took Parker out, ostensibly murdered him, and they won. That is what my notes were intended to mean. Somehow I did not remember that. I'm going through a lot, guys.
That's okay. After that, we had an interview with Toni Storm. She turned on Shotzi initially because her sights were on the NXT Women's Championship, and also because...
Ember?
What?
You said she turned on Shotzi.
Well, yeah, wasn't she originally aligned with Shotzi?
She was pals with Shotzi, but she ultimately turned on Ember. She came out with Ember and then murdered her.
And then she said Ember stole her thunder, which is understandable because Tony just showed up randomly that day, and then Ember was like, "Hell yeah, bitches, it's me."
Review roll for. So.
Wait, you completely cut out for
also,
that.
Did I?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that Ember was the promo we were all waiting for. She was the reveal we were waiting for.
Right.
And when Tony said she stole my thunder, my brain immediately was like, she's Australian, so like thunder from down under. Get it? Because like it's Australia. Anyways.
Really?
I'm not proud of myself.
But Io walked in and punches Io because she doesn't like her. There, it's as fucking simple as that. What more do I have to say? They start brawling. They continue to brawl until they get to the ring. Um, and then Tony's like, she falls out of the ring or jumps out of the ring, and Ember blindsides her. And they brawl for a little bit until Ember walks away. Yeah. And then we have Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa. Some reason.
Yeah. I did really like that Io straight up came out and was like, "You're my problem now. Nothing against you. I just don't fucking like you." And then punched her, and I was like, "Fuck." All right, fine, sure. However, yes, we have Cameron versus, dear God, fucking Tommaso Ciampa. Cameron fared better than I thought he would. I kind of thought this would be a squash for the sake of storyline. It was not. We get a headlock on Cameron Grimes, then arms, which reverses into a leg submission hold on Ciampa. And as this is happening, guess who comes out to just show their fucking support for I don't know who? Little old Tim Tam Thatch, arms and muscles ready to sit down for the matchy match. Sweet boy, love of my life. Never thought I'd be in love with somebody who was missing half their front tooth, but here I am. Whoops. Anyways, so he comes out, he sets up a chair, he says, "Oh wow," and then we get a headlock on Cameron Grimes, which ultimately turns into a fucking slugfest. This sends Ciampa into the corner. There's some forums to Grimes. We load out ringside. Ciampa is just kind of staring down Thatcher. Thatcher's just like, "Hello, I'm here. How do you?" He doesn't seem to have anything like serious going on at the moment. In the meantime, we get a kick to the midsection of Ciampa. There's a spinebuster Ciampa, and maybe he's looking like a little sad because it sort of felt like Tim should have come out, and there should have been like a 5-second span between Ciampa realizing Timothy was there and Ciampa losing. That didn't happen. Timmy was just sitting there like, I was like, "Aw, bud. Okay. You're still a good wrestler. You won the WXW championship. You're a good guy." Anywho, there's a kick to the face of Grimes, and then a lot of clotheslines from Ciampa. Ciampa looks for the fairy tale ending, but he does not get it. There's a knee to the jaw of Grimes, and then a sick little Puma tackle to Grimes. There's some chops against his chest. Ultimately, Grimes goes out to the top buckle. Ciampa pushes him off. And then Tyler Rust comes in. He attacks Ciampa on the...
Who, if you don't know, he was originally Russ Taylor, but he just, like yesterday, changed his name to Tyler Rust.
Right. Interesting to swap your first and last name and then take one or two letters out. But Tyler Rust comes in, attacks Ciampa. This really doesn't hinder him in any certain way. There's a Widow's Bell to Grimes. Ciampa wins. Ciampa fucks off while Tim Tam stares at him and kind of yells at him for a little while. And then Grimes approaches Timothy. Sweet Cameron Grimes just approaches Tim Tams and says, "I've got a bone to pick with you." And Tim Tam says, "I have no business here." But Grimes doesn't understand that concept and ultimately forces Timothy Thatcher to fucking knock his goddamn lights out. And I said, "Oh, that's my boy."
Oh boy, yep.
I love Timmy. I genuinely do wish that Tim Tams was given the respect that he deserves in comparison to like his history as a wrestler. And I do kind of hate that like he's like sort of this little piss baby occasionally. Like he should be in contention for like at least some sort of title belt. It breaks my goddamn heart that he's just vibing out there.
What, Tim Tams?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
He's been a title holder in past fucking...
He was in contention for the North American title.
In contention, but like it's sort of just kind of vibed out. And I wish he had more of like a claim to fame, I guess, in NXT.
Well, he's a better chance of getting there than in the main roster.
True.
But after that, we have an interview with Raquel Gonzalez where she's just mad about Dakota getting hurt by Ember. She's a good friend. She's mad her friend has to be stuck at home. And then our weekly round of fucking weird vagueness. And that's the Xia Li promo / Boa promo. We had Xia punching a dummy. We had Boa getting hit by a kendo stick over and over. And there was a whole lot of blood. It's basically just a training torture montage. No idea what's going on. And I don't think we'll ever know. For a long, long, long time. After that, we had Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, and Indy Hartwell come out into the ring. It's the Garganos and their estranged kids. They're in my face. I don't know where it is. So there we go.
I have some shit to say about this, by the way.
Do you? Okay.
But keep going.
So they come out to celebrate their victories at WarGames. And they're all just celebrating. Johnny's just going off. All happy. Says that he's Mr. Takeover. She's Mrs. WarGames. Because she is in 2 years in a row, she has led 2 teams to victory in WarGames. And then Johnny says he's a nice little surprise for Candice. They do a drum roll, a very poor drum roll, but don't worry, Tom backstage in the control room helps him out. And he brings out a trophy that has Shotzi's head on it. And then after that, Damian Priest comes out, starts yelling at Johnny. But then somebody attacks Damian. All spoiled who it was. I thought initially it was Bo Dallas because I haven't seen this person in so long. No, it was Karrion. Karrion Kross, Mr. Anti-Masker, attacks Damian Priest, power bombs him onto a table, and then just walks out. Gets into a car with Scarlett, his Dodge Challenger, and drives away. And that's the end of that promo. What a wild ride that was. Then we have an interview with... Oh, sorry, you had something to say.
I have something to say. I just want to say in respect to my Sunday celebration, if you will. I was very happy that I was correct. In the sense that I was happy that my bullshit guess that it was Austin Theory as Ghostface came true.
I'm pretty sure I said it was Ghostface like a week or 2 before you said.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I stole it from you, and then you said it was Andrade, and I said.
But it wasn't your guess. We said it was the team's guess.
Right. So one way or the other, though, I was very happy that my personal prediction that Ghostface was going to reveal himself. I was very happy about that. I just want to say, just so I can have this off my fucking conscience. I did not want Austin Theory to ever fucking come back, though. Not in a million years was that what I desired. I genuinely would have rather them been like, no, it was Indy the whole fucking time, and like show me proof that it was her. Whether the proof made sense or not. I would have rathered that than have to be fucking Austin Theory with this stupid fucking weird, dirty fucking facial hair that he's got going on right now. I just need to clear my conscience on that one, because I'd quicker drive a stake into fucking Austin Theory's heart than believe he was Ghostface. However, I did win off of his back. And therefore, if I'm going to make a dime off a man's back,
I just want to throw it out there that Liz's initial guess was Andrade.
No, it wasn't. My initial guess was not Andrade.
The guess you wrote down as your prediction was Andrade.
Is that in your notebook?
It should be in yours. It might be in mine too.
No, because remember I told you, write this down. No. I will quote myself. I said, write this down in your notebook because I will not remember to write it down in my notes, and I do not want to do it right now.
WarGames predictions. Liz picked Andrade. I don't know if you can see that. Liz picked Andrade. It says it right there. Backwards. It might be backwards.
Damn. No, I just look like a fool. I genuinely cannot see it anywhere there, but I'm just going to believe you.
It's right here. Liz picked Andrade. It's
Liz
backwards.
picked Andrade. You picked Austin Theory. So you really should have taken that extra point there and we would have tied.
No, team picked was Austin Theory. I picked Dabba-Kato.
Yeah, no. I'm just happy that like he revealed himself so I didn't have to be disgusting like I was for the last pay-per-view. However, the outcome of my choice has sat with me for a couple minutes and I'm less than thrilled, to say the least.
But after that, we had an interview with Mr. Tyler Rust. Russ Taylor, Tyler Rust, whatever you want to call him. Where he's approached by a Mr. Malcolm Bivens. I don't know what was said exactly. Liz predicted right that it was Malcolm Bivens. I don't know what was said at all. I wasn't paying attention. I should have been, but I wasn't. But now we're moving on.
He Robert Stone's Tyler, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's just like, if you want to talk to my client, or I think he said something along the lines of like, it's been a week since I gave you my business card, like, let's go talk. And then treats Mackenzie like he's talking to her client. And I just want to say, I fucking knew it was Malcolm Bivens. Because Indus Share's gone. You know, rest their fucking souls. Really good when it was officially Malcolm.
Okay.
That's all. Sorry.
And then we had Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain.
God. I don't know. I don't know how you felt about this match.
I liked it a lot.
Okay. All right.
I really like this match.
I expected more from this match, but I liked it for the most part, I guess. All right. So we get a kick to the face of Dunne. Also, by the way, this 100% falls into the same problem I was having. I can't remember if it was Monday or Sunday, but where Dunne and Dain overlap was really fucking me up. However, we get a kick to the face of Dunne and a super kick kicks Dunne out of the ring. Dunne then kicks Dain in the leg. There's some chopping. There's a kick to the midsection of Killian. Pete stomps Killian's face and then punches him in the corner. There's an overhead belly to Pete. I just want to say real quick, midway through these notes, I've never seen a man sell a move quite like Pete does when he stomps on somebody's face. Because I've gotten good at watching like the foot that's doing the action versus the foot that's not doing anything. So Pete stomped Killian's face. It did not look dangerous in any way whatsoever. But it sounded meaty. Like the hit sounded hard. So I don't know. That's one of those things that like I'm realizing with like Pete especially is that like he really can sell a fucking move. If nothing else. There's an enziguri to the back of Killian's head and a snap German suplex. We get a headlock on Killian. We get Dunne on Killian's back. Killian slams him backwards. Then Dain is brought out of the ring when Dunne opens up the ropes for him. Dunne slams down to the mat when Dain hits him. Dain then drops down onto him. Killian powerbombs Pete. There's an elbow drop. We get a triangle choke on Killian at one point or another, which, you know, after being powerbombed by a massive fucking man, to execute a triangle chokehold is pretty fucking impressive, I suppose. We get a one-arm powerbomb on Pete and then a cannonball in the corner, but Pete Dunne rolls away. There's nobody home. Dain cannonballs right into the fucking buckles. There's a suplex off the top rope to Pete. Dain then clotheslines Pete Dunne, plants him on the mat, and then sentons. And Pete Dunne's not looking so good, so Oni and Danny interfere. Oni, who looks like a 70-year-old man now because of the black eye that he had, he and his little buddy Danny interfere. And while they interfere, Drake Maverick says, "Aha, but that's why I'm here."
The real little buddy.
Well. Yeah, a little fella. A little chihuahua to sit by your side, I guess. He does his best. He does his best to help keep Oni and Danny away. However, Killian then has to come out and help Drake. And when Killian finally eviscerates Oni and Danny, he tries to get back into the ring. Pete Dunne kicks him in the face. And then we get a bitter end to Dunne for Pete to get the win. Yeah. I didn't see much else happening there.
I don't know why you didn't like that match. I really did.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying that I think I expected a little more. Maybe it's just the interference that bothered me. Because I think this is probably the match I like the most tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was the interference, I was just like, oh, well, it's not perfect. Yeah.
I mean, I think even the interference worked to it. That's kind of what I liked about the match. Was its interference, because it didn't have a super impactful result in the match. It just caused Killian to like have to get back in the ring, but he was still taken out by Pete. Plus, it gave more character development for them. Killian's now defending Drake. We've made progress. But after that, we have a little interview with Mr. Leon Ruff. Before he can even say much, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory walk in, and they challenge him to a tag team match. And he's like, fuck, it's just me. But then, out of nowhere, Kushida steps in and offers to help Leon Ruff in the tag team match. So, it's now going to be next week, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory versus Kushida and Leon Ruff. I'm actually so excited.
I did really like how Kushida kind of came to his like aid at the end. I was like, I'll do it. I was like, my boy. My boy.
And then he was like, Leon tried to give him a fist bump, and then Kushida was just like, alright.
I was like, fine. Sure.
But yeah, so now we have Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon, our main event.
Yeah. Hey. Alright, let's get fucking into this. Alright, so we got Raquel versus Ember. Ember kicks Raquel in the leg with less than desirable outcomes. There's a failed powerbomb, but a successful pancake to Ember Moon. Raquel kind of takes over control of the match, shoving Ember all over the fucking place. There's an elbow to Ember's jaw. Raquel slams Ember backwards, and then just kind of just elbow drops her over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's an enziguri to Raquel and sort of like a 1 foot drop kick to Raquel, as well as a second one. There's a rollaway flatliner to Raquel Gonzalez, and then Raquel simply just tries to break Ember's back with her move that has no name yet, and I cannot wait for it to have a name because I can't keep fucking describing it on the goddamn podcast. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, there's a crossface to Ember. Moon goes up to the top turnbuckle and jumps off with a suplex. Ember dodges Raquel. There's an enziguri that brings Raquel down to her knees for just a mere fucking second. There's a DDT to Raquel. Moon suicide dives out onto Gonzalez, sending her into the announce desk, just sort of kind of maybe barely. Raquel then sort of like lawn darts fucking Ember Moon into the post. Again, don't know how to fucking describe that one either, but that's basically what happened there. There was a knee strike to the face of Raquel Gonzalez. Gonzalez then catches Ember mid-air. A huge fucking clothesline brings her down to the mat. Moon rolls through, nearly breaking both her and Raquel's neck, it seemed. But we get a powerbomb to Ember. Raquel ended up winning. And then Tony comes out sort of to attack Ember or feed off of her unconscious muscles. I don't know. And Rhea comes in and says, "No, that's not going to happen tonight. Sorry. It's just simply not going to happen." Not what I would have chosen for the main event, in my personal opinion. I kind of get why we're doing this because AEW is having a women's wrestling problem right now.
I don't think that's why they're doing it. I think it's all the compliments that NXT's women's division is the best division in wrestling.
I'm sure that that's helping. I just don't think that this was a match for a main event. I don't know how you feel, but
I liked it. I think out of all the matches today, this is definitely the most main event worthy.
I think I was spoiled with the Io Rhea main event. Honestly.
Io Rhea main event.
I think I was spoiled with that. Yeah.
Oh, from weeks ago.
Like the main event that we had with the Io and Rhea during NXT.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was a while ago.
But I think that like my brain constantly now that I'm watching, like especially when there's women's wrestlers in the main event, was just like, it's not that, is it? And I've got to stop myself from that because I can't help it.
But we should move on to bests of the night.
It's that time of there's something that's supposed to happen on your part from like after I talk about the last match. And there isn't. You're always like, we should move on. I'm like,
yeah, there's nothing.
To what? To what, sir?
So while Liz gets the sticker on, and we're gonna see the cat. It's just a lump. Oh, all tuckered out from pooping everywhere. Oh, she's so disturbed.
That's a face.
And back to sleep.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, Pete. I get it.
Alright, so while you're doing that, I'll go over promo of the night. Because I'm solid in what my pick is. There were a lot of good promos tonight, though. I will say, NXT's always got solid promos. We started off with Finn Balor in the ring, returning, and everyone comes out to challenge him, even Scarlett. And then Finn said he's defending the title January 6th at New Year's Evil. This was an interesting bit. It was funny. It was good. But I think the whole... I guess I'm just tired from the whole Finn is back thing that we've now gotten for the second or third time. Because it's like he was back 2 weeks ago, if not last week. Like, relax. But I do like to see the new challengers who are stepping up to him. Pete Dunne is exciting. Damian Priest in his new form is going to be exciting. We already had Kyle versus Finn very recently, so I can't imagine we would either get that again or have it be much better than the last one, because the last one was damn near perfect. We had Ciampa talking to the camera. It was okay. It wasn't bad. The Tony Storm interview, which led to Io socking her in the face. It was alright. It was okay. We had the Raquel Gonzalez interview, which was alright. The Xia Li promo, still confusing and vague. I don't care. Then we had Johnny and the Garganos in the ring. I loved this bit just because it was so funny. And we also had Karrion out of nowhere. I didn't expect Karrion for a little while. I didn't expect him tonight. So to get him back so soon, that makes me excited. I popped in that moment.
I kind of expected him to come back only because Trips did say he was due back any second now, and I said, well, if it's not at fucking TakeOver, then I don't know when else he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So if he didn't come back tonight, I probably would have lost my shit next Wednesday.
But his appearance,
when he would have come back.
Regardless, his appearance was still exciting, especially when he powerbombed Damien onto the table. And then the trophy with Shotzi's head was just so funny. I love this whole promo. It was so good. Everything about it. Then we had the Tyler Rust interview, which was interesting. And we had the Leon Ruff interview, which was nice, because we got Kushida siding with Leon, and that sounds like a great tag team right there. So, with all that said, I don't think it's any shocker, based on what I said, that my pick for promo of the night is Johnny and the Garganos celebrating.
It's just, man, it's so difficult because Austin Theory was part of it. Oh.
Yes, he was, but he was a very little part of it. He didn't have a mic at all. He didn't. And you picked a fight for best match of the night that had Velveteen Dream in it, so you cannot even talk.
Do not start with that! That was a good fight because Kushida was amazing and he killed Velveteen.
And this was a great promo because Johnny Gargano's great. Candice is great. And Austin didn't have a mic. And Indy still looked stupid with that neck brace. And we got to see Damian Priest powerbombed into a table.
I am only choosing this promo because of fucking Karrion, okay? And even that feels bad because he's an anti-vax. God damn it. God damn it, Marcus. God damn you.
I mean, what's your other choice? Finn Balor getting interrupted on his return again?
Okay.
All right, so that's our promo of the night. Johnny and the Garganos celebrate. Wrestler of the night?
You see what's happened to my hair now?
Yes, I do.
Not your fault.
I'm not even in the room. So this one is very tough for me. It's very tough. We start off with Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas. I think Jake Atlas was easily the best here. Not only does he always put up the best wrestling performance, but he's just not as cheesy as Swerve. Swerve's very trying too hard with his performance, his character performance. Jake is just pure wrestler all around. I think he is much improved today as he was the last time we saw him during the Pat Patterson tribute match. He looked fantastic today. Although he is just missing character. I think that's one thing he needs to improve on, is just finding a character. Then we had Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise versus Imperium. This one was tough. I think I do have to go with James Drake. I think the way he works alongside Zach Gibson is fantastic. The both of them make an incredible tag team just because of how well they work with each other. I mean, you have tag teams who do great individually. They tag in, they tag out, don't really work alongside each other, but Zach Gibson and James Drake are just so incredible together. They are the very definition of a tag team. They're on the same level of teamwork as like the New Day. But yeah, I'll pick James Drake for that match because I think he's a step above Zach Gibson and everyone else in that match. Then we had Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa. I picked Tommaso Ciampa. I couldn't tell you why. I thought Grimes and Ciampa were kind of on the same level today. And I'm very much 50-50 on either of them. They're both good. But I don't think either of them were really significantly better than the other. Then we had Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain. And you know what? I'm going to go with Killian. I think Killian was fantastic today. A much better Killian than we've seen. He looked powerful, he looked agile, and the way he defended Drake just, it made me happy. I really liked his character. I liked his wrestling today. It was satisfying, it was impactful, and he had a lot of heart and character. Then we had Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. I picked Raquel. Again, I'm not really sold on Ember. I'm not. I think Raquel is fantastic. I don't think she was anything special today. Apart from any other day, but you know, she's still good. She's still great. So, with all that said, my pick for best of the night, best wrestler of the night, it's so hard to say. Ah, God. But I think I'm gonna pick Killian Dain.
I just chose to scroll. I chose to scroll through Twitter.
Okay.
I was reminded of the last part of the Fox and the Hound, so I'm emotionally unstable at this point. Really fucked me up a little bit. Didn't expect it to. Just wanted to see if there was any wrestling news, but somebody just decided to sneak that one in, so that's fine. Didn't hurt me. I feel fine ultimately. It's it's okay. Anyways, I think you're wrong.
I didn't realize an opinion could be wrong.
Oh, there's a story I have to tell you that I don't want to tell you during the podcast because it's just going to take too much time.
Well, now everyone wants to know.
Do you really want me to tell you this? I can make it quick.
I don't.
Okay. Cool. Fuck me. I don't know. Part of me wants to give it to somebody in the Imperium Grizzled Young Veterans, I guess, Everrise match, but that was so hard to keep track of that I genuinely cannot give it to anyone there. I just don't agree with.
You don't agree with Killian?
Killian.
Why?
I would more agree with Pete.
Why don't you agree with Killian?
I have no fucking clue.
Probably because you're just not a fan of his wrestling style.
No, I really like Killian, actually. I really do. It's for me, it's more so the fact that it seemed like Pete did a lot more with a lot less.
You got to
What I mean by that is like,
I think he,
Like, for example, Pete got into several different fucking conundrums, if you will, in the sense that, like, you know, Dain had him on his back and Dain slammed him down, and um, at one point, Killian powerbombed Pete into the ground and then elbow dropped him, and the cover turned into a fucking triangle chokehold on Killian Dain because Pete got his little leggies up. It's shit like that where it's like, Killian's a big ass dude. You're taking the piss out of Pete, and Pete still manages to come up and wrap his little leggies around your fucking neck and his arms around your little fucking arm, and you're in a fucking submission hold suddenly.
but if we're also factoring in character and more than just wrestling into this, which I always do, I think Killian was the better of the two.
But technically, Killian didn't really show any character outside of the fact that, like, two people kind of, like, zoned in on the fight, right? Danny and Oni. And then Drake tried to stop them. But Drake couldn't stop them, so Killian had to stop them. Which is ultimately what would have happened in any other match where two friends swarmed in. It wasn't so much that he was like, oh, well, they're beating up my best friend, Drake. Like, if that were the case, then I would have been like, yeah, you're right.
No,
It
he
does
did do
have
that.
some more character.
Because
No, he didn't.
no, because they left and Drake turned around to smile at Killian. They came back specifically to target Drake, and then they were just beating him up. And then Killian came in and beat them up.
Right, Maverick turned around towards Killian and was like, hey, look, I did something good for you. And then they came back and attacked him, and then Killian had to come out and beat them up because they were attacking Drake.
Yeah.
Which does not say, oh, I'm attacking you because you're attacking Drake. It's saying, oh, I'm attacking you because this is my last vestige against somebody interfering in my match. I have to attack you, otherwise I will not be able to win my match.
I disagree. I very much disagree with that. Because he wasn't stepping out of the ring until they came back to hit Drake.
No, he was stepping out of the ring once it seemed like Drake did not have a hold over what was happening in that moment.
I don't know. I think you're thinking...
That was the only reason he stepped out. It was not because Drake was getting beaten to shit.
I think it was, because the announcer specifically said that, too.
Well, who said it, Vic?
Yeah.
If Vic said it, then yeah, Vic's a little optimistic bitch. I'm sorry, I really think that Pete had more of a fucking presence in this match, and because I don't think that Killian really had that much of a character presence at all.
And Pete did?
No, what I'm saying is I don't think that Killian had any character presence, and I don't think Pete did either, therefore I cannot factor that in at all. Therefore, I'm just factoring in the fighting.
Well, it's either I stick with Killian and we disagree on that, or we agree on James Drake.
I will agree with you on James Drake.
Okay.
I'll always agree on James.
I refuse to go with Pete here because he mostly just got his ass beat, and he was not even a consistent character with how he was weeks ago. He miraculously just changed character.
This match was confusing for me. However, I will go with James Drake only because we have 3 Drakes, 1 that I hate and 2 that I like, and it's very confusing for me, and I really like this match because James Drake consistently, I'm always just like, Drake, I hate that name. And then, like, James Drake comes on and he's like, hello, I'm here. Fucking knocking everyone goddamn down. I'm like,
what about Drake Maverick?
Drake Maverick's also good. He's the other one that I like, but it's difficult. It's difficult for me. I do like the name Maverick, though, because then that reminds me of Top Gun.
Alright, so now match of the night. Another toughie for me. So we start off with Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas. A decent match all around, although Swerve's performance kind of soured it for me. But great showing from Jake. Then we had Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise versus Imperium. a pretty good match all around. Even from Everrise, they're really good in the ring. I just can't stand Matt Martell and his yelling.
One thing I like about Everrise in this position, not to argue my point before I get into any points, but just the fact that like they were these like obnoxious nuisances in an otherwise spectacular match. I thought that it kind of added like a little bit of a character bonus in a weird way.
It did, and it also, them kind of hiding for the majority of it, highlights the great wrestling from Grizzled Young Vets and Imperium. So that's kind of the focus, and then they have their beats when Everrise comes in to take advantage of a situation. But after that, we had Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa. A good match all around. I mean, Tim Tam sitting down and watching was a great addition. And I knew that would happen. The moment that match started, I was like, Timothy's probably going to come in, sit down, do the same thing that Ciampa did.
My boy.
It was a really good match, and I loved how it ended, too. Then we had Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain. A great match. I really liked it. I loved Killian and Pete too, and I think the interference was a welcome bit of interference. You know, the few times it makes sense, and doesn't affect the match too much. Then we had Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. This match was good. It was good. That's all I can really say. It wasn't anything perfect. It wasn't anything amazing. It was good. Oh, this one
better.
This one is tough for me. I know you're not gonna go with Pete Dunne versus Killian Dain. It's not Raquel versus Ember. It's not Swerve versus Jake. What?
Okay, then I think we're on the same page if it's not any of those above.
So it's either Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise versus Imperium, or Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, fuck you.
I think I want to go with Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh no! We were so close to agreeing.
I think.
Oh.
Look, I did really like the tag team match. It's tough because I really liked both. Fine, you know what? I'll go with the tag team match.
Oh, no, don't!
I wanted our wrestler of the night to be not from our match of the night, but I can't argue in my mind.
No!
I can't argue in my mind against Grizzled Young Vets, like the tag team match not being match of the night. I can't.
No, I was gonna go with Tommy.
Oh my, fine. Fine, we'll go with Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa. Is that?
No, you can't just agree with me.
That was my first choice, though. That was my first choice.
Argue for it.
Okay, so what started as Ciampa initially putting an end to the storyline, completely dismissing Thatcher after he destroyed him at WarGames, and he had his promo where he just dismissed everything, said he was moving on. Thatcher said, no, and basically confirmed that this storyline's still continuing and leading into great matches between these two. But talking about the match itself, the ending was fantastic. I think having the surprise run-in from, was it Tyler Rust? Tyler Rust. I think that was very weird, but also hilarious. And then Cameron Grimes' interaction with Thatcher in the end was great. And then the match itself, Ciampa and Grimes did an excellent job. Grimes more than normal. He wasn't his normal goofy self. He actually put in a great job as a wrestler. And Ciampa, goddamn that. What's the name of his finisher? Like the draping DDT. What's he call it?
Widow's Bell.
Widow's Bell. God, I love that move.
They called it the Willow's Bell today, or rather Wade did, and I said, I don't know what that's.
Probably just mixed up.
It is Wade after all. No, I really like this match. I would have liked it a little more if it gave me a little more like focus on what the fuck Cameron's vibe is now, because we don't really know.
I think the match also needed some good beats to it. Pauses.
But it did give us some more movement towards Tommaso and Tim Tam, Thatchy Thatch, arms, muscles, ready for matches. Future.
Yeah.
I just wish it were a title-bearing future. That would be nice.
It might lead
That's
to
all
it.
I've got to say about that.
It might lead to it.
It fucking better. He's so much better than just sitting on the side. God damn it.
All right, let's end this before Liz starts blowing up. Promo of the night, Johnny and the Garganos celebrate. Wrestler of the night, James Drake. Match of the night, Cameron Grimes versus Tommaso Ciampa. Liz, would you like to close us out?
I called the Johnny Gargano and the Famo.
I call the Johnny and the Garganos like Benny and the Jets.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right, kids. So, welcome to Wednesday. It's almost Thursday. Almost the first day of Hanukkah. I have to go to a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm very stressed out about it. You should be too. Don't be stressed. I'm not stressed. No one's stressed. Anyways.
Don't be stressed. Liz is overreacting.
We'll be back on Friday, probably. Most likely. Maybe. I don't know.
You will.
We'll be back on Friday. On the 11th. It'll be the second night of Hanukkah. Get your fucking candles. If you tuned in tonight, thank you. If you did not tune in tonight, that's kind of rude. But if you're watching in the future, thank you. We'll be back on Friday, ideally. 19th, Micromies. Very exciting, very fun.
1 week from Saturday.
1 week from Saturday, there will be the Micromies. We will be here. However, very important to note, we probably will not be doing a Christmas SmackDown podcast. No offense to everybody. We talked about it for 5 seconds and we both said that's pretty much fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not.
Unless SmackDown somehow turns around and suddenly it's an amazing show in the next 2 weeks, I can almost guarantee you we will be taking a break on the SmackDown podcast, but we will be back right afterwards for the Monday Night Raw podcast. So.
Yeah, we might talk about it because I might plan on watching it, depending on what my family's vibe is.
I'll watch it.
So. We might talk about it.
Our Twitter will be active for it. We just won't be streaming at night.
Speaking of which, Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast if you want to follow us on there. Are you ready for me to close this out? Wrap us up? All right, if you enjoyed, hit that follow button right down below. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And check out the live show. We can talk to you live, have a full-on conversation. And follow us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast. Follow our personal Twitters. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And on YouTube, check out the Universal Pokemon Federation. The first full episode is a combination of WWE and Pokemon. First full episode is coming, premiering tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Roughly 20-minute long episode. You won't want to miss it. It's great. It's going to be awesome. Definitely come check it out. Universal Pokemon Federation on YouTube. And check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. I'll be going live tomorrow with Cyberpunk. And Das Cat. Oh. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown.